Welcome to Threaded Lore, where we get stories from all over internet to you. Some are mysterious, some are thrilling, and some will leave you questioning reality. Sit back, listen, and let the stories unfold.
I have worked nights for 11 years. Most people cannot do it. The silence gets to them. The way a building sounds when there is no one left in it. The pipes, the settling, the hum of fluorescent lights that nobody ever turns off. I stopped noticing those sounds a long time ago. My name is Marcus. I am 42 years old. For the last 6 years, I have worked as a night archivist at the Harlow County Records Building. It is a 7-story building built in 1931. Mostly basement storage, mostly dead files. My job is simple. I maintain the archive, I process requests, I make sure nothing is lost. I have always been good at the quiet. What I am about to tell you happened over 3 weeks in October. I have not told anyone the full account until now. Not because I am afraid of being believed, but because saying it out loud makes it real in a way I have spent 2 years trying to avoid. The Harlow County Records Building holds civil records going back to 1887. Birth certificates, death notices, property transfers, missing persons reports. Everything is cataloged. Everything has a number. The basement archive alone spans 4 levels underground. Most of it has never been digitized. Most of it will never be digitized. There are files down there that nobody has touched in 40 years. I know because I am the one who would have touched them. My shift runs from 10 at night to 6 in the morning. I am usually the only person in the building after midnight. There is a security guard named Phil on the ground floor. He sleeps in his chair from about 1 in the morning onward. For all practical purposes, after 1, the building is mine. I liked that. Past tense. I liked that. The first thing happened on a Tuesday in the second week of October. I was processing a routine request for records from the 1960s. Property dispute happens all the time. I went down to level B3 to pull the relevant files. B3 is the 3rd basement level. Cold down there. Always cold. The files are stored in gray metal shelving units that go floor to ceiling. Each unit has a borrower card tray at the end. Old system, never updated. You pull a card when you take a file. You return it when you bring the file back. Most of the trays down there are empty. Nobody takes these files anywhere. Nobody takes these files anywhere. But on Unit 47, Section C, the tray had a card in it. That should not have been possible. The files in that section are restricted access. Senior staff only. Internal requests only. I am senior staff. I had not pulled any file from that section. Nobody had logged any request for that section. I took the card out. It was old, yellowed, the kind of cardstock they stopped using in the 1980s. The borrower's name was written in ink at the top. E. Callaway. Below the name was a date column, standard format. There were 41 dates on that card. The first was June 1962. The most recent was September 14th of this year. 6 weeks before the night I was standing there holding it. I want to be precise about what I felt in that moment. Not fear, not yet, confusion, and a specific professional irritation. Someone had been accessing a restricted section without logging a request. That is a records management problem, a serious one, but a solvable one. I looked up the file that corresponded to Unit 47, Section C. File reference HC 1941-088. I pulled it. It was a thick manila folder, old, smelled like everything in B3 smells, like paper and cold and time. I took it to the reading desk at the end of the aisle and opened it. The file was a collection of missing persons reports, all from the same address. 47 Renwick Street. I did not recognize the street name immediately. I read through the reports. There were 11 of them, spanning from 1941 to 1989. 11 people had gone missing, and the last known location for each of them was 47 Renwick Street. I sat with that for a moment. 11 people, the same address, nearly 50 years of reports. And then I looked at the file reference again, HC 1941-2088, and I looked at the building address stamped on the inside cover of the folder. The Harlow County Records Building. 47 Renwick Street. I was sitting in the file. The address in the missing persons reports was this building. The building I was in. The building where I was the only person awake. I told myself there was a rational explanation. There almost always is. Renwick Street was renamed in 1967. I checked later. It is Harlow Civic Boulevard now, so the address match was a historical coincidence. Easily explained. The missing persons report spanned decades and involved different individuals, probably unconnected. The borrower card was strange but not impossible. Old records sometimes had errors, cards got misfiled, dates got transposed. I put the file back. I noted the irregularity in the access log. I finished my shift. I did not sleep well that day. The second thing happened 4 nights later. I had looked up E. Calloway in the staff records database. No current employee by that name. No former employee either. I searched the county personnel records going back to 1920. Nothing. I tried the public records database, births, deaths, property. There was one record. A birth certificate. Elias Calloway, born March 3, 1887. Born in 1887. Meaning if he were still alive, he would be 139 years old. The most recent date on that borrower card was 6 weeks ago. I went back to B3 that Friday night. I told myself I was just going to check the file again. Verify the dates. Look for something I had missed. Professional thoroughness. Nothing more. The borrower card tray was empty. The card was gone. I had left it in the tray 4 nights ago. I was certain of it. I pulled out the file again. And that is when I found the note. It was a single sheet of paper tucked inside the back cover of the folder. Unlined paper, handwritten. The ink was black. The handwriting was neat, old-fashioned, deliberate. It said this. You found it faster than most. Most people walk past it for months before they think to look. The address is not a coincidence. It never was. I dare. If you are reading this, then you are already part of it. I'm sorry. There was no signature. Oh, no date. I stood in B3 for a long time holding that piece of paper. My brain was doing what brains do, finding the rational sequence. Someone had placed this note as a prank. A colleague with access to the archive and a dark sense of humor. It happened. Old buildings attract that kind of thing. But the handwriting. I had seen that handwriting before. Ooh, on the borrower card. The name E. Calloway written in the same neat, deliberate ink. The same hand. I did not go back to B3 for 5 days. I processed requests from the upper floors. I stayed near Phil's desk. I told myself I was being sensible. On the 5th night, I went back down. Not because I wanted to, because not going felt worse than going, because the not knowing had started following me home in the mornings, into my sleep, into my waking. Unit 47, Section C. The borrower card was back in the tray. The same yellowed card. 41 dates. And now a 42nd. Last Tuesday. 3 nights ago. The night I had stayed away. I pulled the file. I went to the reading desk. I opened the back cover. There was a second note. Same paper, same handwriting, same ink. It said this. I know you stayed away. That is understandable. Most people stay away for a while before they come back. But they always come back. The building makes sure of that. You have probably noticed it by now. The way the quiet changes when you are not down here. The way the upper floors feel different at 3 in the morning. That is not your imagination. That is the building paying attention. I have been here longer than you have. Roar! I will be here longer than you will be. There is something I need to show you. Come to be or. Come alone. You already got there. B4 is the lowest level of the archive. I had been down there exactly once in 6 years. The files stored there predate the county record system. Most of them are uncatalogued. It is accessed through a locked door at the bottom of the B3 stairwell. I have a key. All senior archivists do. We rarely use it. I stood at the top of the B3 stairwell for a long time. I am going to be honest with you about what I felt in that moment. It was not courage that made me go down. It was something more like resignation. The note was right. The building had felt different for weeks, and I had started to understand that not going down to B4 was not going to make that stop. The B4 stairwell was colder than B3. Always cold down there, but this was different. The kind of cold that does not come from temperature. The fluorescent lights on B4 flickered when I unlocked the door, then held. The space was larger than I remembered. Rows of unshelved boxes along the walls. Filing cabinets with no labels. In the center of the room was a table I had not seen before. On the table was a file. Open, face up, waiting. I walked to it. It was a personnel file. Harlow County Records Building, staff record. The name on the cover was mine. Marcus Elliott Webb. My employee number, my start date, my department. I opened it. Inside was my standard personnel record, but at the back, behind my official documents, were additional pages. Handwritten, the same neat, deliberate ink. 11 pages. Each one a detailed account of a single shift. My shifts. What I had done, where I had gone, what I had eaten at my desk. Written as if observed. From inside the building. The first entry was dated my first week in this job, 6 years ago. The last entry was dated tonight. The shift I was currently working. Oh, no! It described me walking down the B3 stairwell. It described me unlocking the B4 door. It described me standing at the table. Reading? The last line of the last entry said this. Now you understand. You are not the archivist here. You never were. You are the file. I left the building at 2:43 in the morning. I did not take anything with me. I did not speak to Phil. I drove home and I sat in my car in the driveway until it was light outside. I called in sick the next night. And the night after that, on the third day, I submitted my resignation by email. I gave no reason. I did not go back to collect my things. I have not been back to that building in 2 years. I have thought a great deal about what I found down there, about what it means or does not mean, about the 11 missing persons reports, about E. Calloway, born in 1887, who last signed out a file 6 weeks before I found his card, about who wrote those notes, about who wrote those 11 pages in my personnel file. I do not have answers. I am not sure answers exist in the form I would recognize them. What I have instead is this. A very specific understanding of something I did not understand before. Some buildings are not just buildings. Some places remember who has been inside them, and some of them keep records of their own. In formats we do not have systems for. Filed in sections we did not know existed. I worked nights for 11 years. I thought I understood buildings. I thought I understood what it meant to be the only person awake in one. I was not the only person awake in that building. I understand that now. I was never the only one. Leave your thoughts in the comments. If you have ever worked somewhere that felt like it was watching you back, I want to hear it. Subscribe for a new story every week. See you in the next one.
If you like the lore, please like the video, comment your views, share it with others, and please subscribe for more.